Kid Milafolcha, you're turned into Craic on the Coast. I'm Michael Schilling, coming to you from America's hometown, Plymouth, Massachusetts. This is the show where we celebrate Irish history, culture, music, and community all across the South Shore of Massachusetts and beyond. Every episode, we bring you stories, guests, and events that keep our heritage alive and the Craic flowing.
And I'm Shaun Morgan, your partner in all things Irish and all things Craic. And Mike, it seems we've got a packed show today, and I'm actually buzzing for this one, man.
Yeah, that's right. First, we'll be chatting with Davy Holden, the man who's making Irish history go viral with almost 200,000 followers on Instagram.
And then we're going to turn to Boston, where Liam Lynch from the Bowery Presents is going to give us the inside scoop on the upcoming Seisiún Irish Music and Cultural Festival, which is happening September 6th and 7th.
That's exciting. And finally, we share some big news. Craic on the Coast is hitting the road for our very first on-location recording. You're not going to want to miss that. So,
absolutely not.
No, we just got to make sure we don't totally screw it up.
No, we haven't done that at all.
No. So first we'll welcome Davy Holden onto the show. Davy, welcome. For those who you might not know yet, but tell us, how did you get started with basically sharing Irish history on Instagram and small video snippets?
Thanks a million for having me, lads. Delighted to be here. It all started about 3 years ago, this time 3 years ago in 2022. So I've been passionate about Irish history since I was a kid. I've always been fascinated by it. And with that, I suppose, like a lot of it for me started with music. I grew up playing music as a kid. My mother's side of the family is a massive music family. Everyone plays trad music and Irish folk music and all that kind of thing. I didn't grow up doing that. I went down, I was playing a lot of like blues and rock and funk music and all that. But around kind of mid to late teenage years, I started really getting heavily into Irish music, specifically Irish folk music, I suppose. And I started looking into, like I say, the history behind the songs and the stories behind Irish folk songs. And that kind of really, really drove on my interest into Irish history. And I suppose a lot of the songs that were playing at the time were like rebel songs. So that kind of led me straight into Irish revolutionary history. So I started picking up some Irish history books. I think the very first book I ever read was My Fight for Irish Freedom by Dan Breen. And after I read that book, I was just absolutely certain. I was like, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And then as well as that, I got an interest in videography around the time of COVID. Randomly enough, it was something that I was never really into in the past. But I got an interest in videography, wanted to be able to shoot videos, and I started doing that. And I kind of combined the two, my love for Irish history and my love for making videos. And the Irish History channel was born, I suppose.
Great stuff.
Brilliant. I mean, I have to say, so I'm a wee bit fanboying right now, Davy, as well. So aspects. I'm a history teacher by trade, came to the States to teach, US history, etc. Build courses for high school students on Irish history, and big follower of yours on Instagram, and got my kids involved into it as well, just to get them to get involved with it. So you found a way to take Irish history, make it bite-sized, make it addictive. Was that your goal, or is it just something that evolved along the way?
Not really. I didn't really have any goals at the start. I was just doing it for fun, because my favorite thing to do in my free time was make videos. And Irish history was kind of the obvious topic to make videos about for me because I loved it so much. But I had no goals at the start. It was just fun. It was just a hobby, and I didn't have any, I don't know, like when I started making videos, I had no idea or no goals or no idea what I was doing, to be perfectly honest. But I suppose I kind of naturally kind of developed my own style somehow, I guess. But there was very little thought put into it, if I'm completely honest, when it came to like what way I was going to make these videos. I was going to make them short and snappy because I started out making longer videos and then short videos as well. And I kind of realized that people were more so interested in the short, bite-sized history videos. So I guess one of the main things I did at the very start was, let's just say I read a book on a particular topic. I'd try and crush that book into like a 2-minute video, right? Which is like great as an introduction to Irish history, but also, I mean, you have to leave out a lot of
right.
important information too. So it's not like I don't think you're ever going to become an expert on Irish history from watching my channel, but that's not the point of it, because I'm not an expert on Irish history. It's just a way to show people, I suppose, that Irish history is so interesting. And a lot of the stuff I cover is very, very recent too. And I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, I mean,
I
just
mean,
the
it's definitely it. Sorry, Mike. I was just
no,
going to say it's accessible. It's not like handing someone a Tim Pat Coogan book and saying, "There you go, get this." It's just like you said. It's almost like an intro piece to get you synced in. That's a topic I want to look into and then dive through. And I found that with my eldest. He's 16. He'll watch one of your videos and then come and ask me like, "Do you have any books on this, this, and this?" So we feed him then into it.
I
Oh,
was,
that's class.
and that was exactly what I was going to say, Sean. I mean, to be able to make it accessible, especially for a younger generation, there's no way I could ever hand anyone like The Famine Plot by Tim Pat Coogan and say, here, just like, take care of this on a weekend. And they might get very overwhelmed and get lost in the weeds. Whereas your videos kind of bring out like a dramatic sense and that pulls people in. I think that's great, especially for a younger generation. I think that's absolutely fabulous.
Thanks so much. But yeah, that was another reason, I suppose, to start making videos too, was that like I grew up when I was a teenager, I loved Irish history so much. I was obsessed with it. But at the same time, I wasn't going to sit at home every weekend and, read a stack of Irish history books. You know what I mean? I was a teenager. I wanted to be out having fun with my friends. So that was another aspect of why I wanted to make videos, because not everyone wants to sit down and read a ton of Irish history books. Not everyone wants to be like an expert or a historian. So like that's the idea, I suppose, as well behind the short, snappy videos is to kind of give you, a bit of the history at least.
Sure, and it's an introduction for people to get, like you said,
Yeah,
to get more interested and pick up a book and go from there.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's working. I mean, 200,000 followers. I mean, that's no small number. Um, so obviously there's people watching, there's people interested, and you're churning the videos out more and more. So what do you think's been the most surprising and or rewarding feedback you've gotten from audience members?
One of the greatest things that's happened to me because of the channel is getting invited to Irish fests in the US. Um, Pre-starting my channel, I never knew that Irish fests existed. I didn't know what they were. Um, but yeah, since 2023, I've been going over to Irish fests in the US and been given like live presentations on Irish history. So that was the first time I ever like did public speaking in my life. Was only 2 years ago, which is kind of nuts because now I'm doing it all the time. But like if you had said to me 3 years ago, a massive part of your job and your career is going to be public speaking, I would have said, you're absolutely nuts. Like, not a chance would I ever public speak. But now I love it. Like I just got invited to an Irish fest. I was like, okay, I'm going to do my best here and do public speaking for the first time. And I absolutely love it so much, which is the last thing in the entire world I ever thought I would like. So getting invited to Irish fest, that's definitely up there.
And you
That's
just
been
you
just
just came back from one, correct?
Yeah, I got back from the States last week. I was over at Casper Celtic Irish Fest in Wyoming. I was at Iowa Irish Fest as well in Waterloo, Iowa. And I'm heading back to the States next Thursday for KC Irish Fest in Missouri.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, that just highlights the aspect. Everyone. When you start saying Irish Fest, a lot of people's minds would turn to Boston, New York, Chicago, even San Francisco, like the typical coastal cities where there's big Irish populations, but you've just hit the Midwest, the
Yeah.
South, not areas where you think there would be, big Irish festivals going on.
Yeah, that was the biggest shocker for me at the start as well, to be honest with you, because when I started doing these Irish fests in the Midwest, I was like, oh, this is mad. Like, it's not where you think they would be. You would think Boston or Philly and New York and these kind of places,
Hmm.
but or Chicago or whatnot. But yeah, it's mad. Yeah, out in like La Crosse, Wisconsin, and Waterloo, Iowa, and Kansas City, Missouri. It's so cool. I've one more Irish Fest then after that this year, which is in your state, Massachusetts. It's going to be at Worcester
Oh,
in
you're coming out
October.
to the Worcester Festival?
Oh, you're
Okay.
coming out?
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man,
I was there last year as well. Loved it.
Okay.
Yeah, I say we'll both be there, so we'll have to make sure that we connect before that.
Yeah, yeah.
100%.
That's great. Now, doing the videos, and I mean, there's a litany of Irish history to use, but do you ever find it hard to keep coming up with new material to be able to release on, a consistent basis on Instagram.
100%, yeah. Because like even though it's history and it's like 99% of my work is research, right? But there's still a lot of creativity involved in it, more than you'd probably think, like, trying to make a video on a certain topic and keep it interesting as well, because, I want to make videos that people want to watch, at the end of the day, on topics that people are interested in, which requires like so much brain work, I suppose. But generally my videos like are quite random, and people kind of ask me a lot, I suppose, like, where do I get the ideas for videos? It's pretty much random. I don't really have any kind of structure as to periods I'm going through. It's just whatever I want to make a video on, or whatever I think people will be interested in hearing about.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I'll make a video on topics that I think people want to watch. But
Sure.
I make a lot, as you could probably have seen from my channel. I make a lot of War of Independence videos. There's a bit of bias from me because it's probably my favorite era of Irish history. So whenever I don't have any ideas of other videos to make, I'll just do War of Independence videos, which I need to stop doing that. I need to branch out more often, but I'm terrible for doing that. I'll just sit in the War of Independence era and make loads of videos on that.
Well, plus you have dates. I mean, today we record on August 22nd, and for anyone that knows Irish history, it's the 130th anniversary of the death of Michael Collins. I already saw it on Instagram. That's what the video was about. That obviously has to help a little bit, with Irish history dates being in there, so.
100%, yeah. Anniversaries is a huge part as well. And I try and keep, can keep up to date with them as well, and know about them in advance and that kind of thing, and not forget about them, because it's really important as well to share a video about a certain person or about a certain event that happened on this day. I think people really enjoy that as well, like, an anniversary of a person or an event. So that's a big part of it too. And then books are everything to me as well, like, because most of my work is research. So if I'm reading a book on X, I'm probably going to release a video based on that topic as soon as I'm finished the book. So that's a massive part of it too. Most of my work is research. I could spend 2 weeks or 3 weeks researching the topic. I'll shoot the video in 10 minutes. So shooting the video is the easy part. But yeah, it's the research part. That's where all the work is.
So switching outside the videos, I mean, obviously you have other avenues in which you commemorate Irish history. And before we go any further, I mean, Mike, don't we have a special announcement that you want to make before we dive into that, and then let Davy talk in little detail about it?
Yeah. So we actually, to announce, we talked this over with Davy. We're gonna do a Craic on the Coast jersey giveaway. It's something that Davy has on his website that he, released, I think, a few months ago now, if I'm not correct. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put it out on Instagram and on Facebook. The day this releases, we'll start accepting entries. And if you go on, subscribe to the podcast, like the Instagram post, and then comment on the Instagram post, Craic on the Coast. Everybody that does that, on Friday, August 29th, we're going to pick a winner for one of Davy's jerseys. We'll get your size. We'll order it through Davy, and it'll have shipped straight to your door. But maybe you can give us a little background, Davy, on the jersey itself. It's really sharp looking.
Absolutely, yeah. So this is something that I have wanted to do forever, because I just mentioned a few minutes ago that the War of Independence is the era of Irish history that got me interested in history in the first place. So ever since I'm a kid, like, I've always been so passionate about the War of Independence, which is only a 2.5 year period in Irish history, if you're looking at that specifically. But last year, I decided to release, or start designing, I should say, a War of Independence commemoration jersey. There's been a commemoration jersey for 1916, which is gorgeous. O'Neill's did it. And I wanted to do one for the War of Independence. I spent an entire year designing the jersey, because I realized once I started designing it, I am not good at designing jerseys. So I must have had, I'm not joking, I'd say 25 to 30 drafts of different jerseys. I just couldn't decide what way it should look, and I just couldn't design the jersey that I loved. And about 6 months after 6 months into the designing process, I actually gave up on the whole idea. I dropped the whole thing. I couldn't find a jersey that was kind of perfect, a jersey that I loved. So I said, you know what? I'm leaving this whole thing. I'll come back to it in a few years, maybe, or something like that. Then a couple of months later, I came back to it. I was like, no, I really, really want to do this. So I actually got in touch with one of my friends who's a graphic designer, and he's a incredible jersey designer as well. He had been designing jerseys for like soccer clubs and stuff like that. And I just sat down and had a conversation with him about this War of Independence jersey, and I just went through different ideas with him. I told him like what I liked, what I didn't like, and we came up with this design, three shades of green in hoops, and just absolutely loved it. It's a basic jersey. I think all of my favorite GAA style jerseys are fairly simple. So it's a three shades of green, in a hoop style. You have Cug and Saoirse on it, which means War of Independence or Fight for Freedom. You have the crest on the jersey is designed based off the War of Independence medal. That was really important to me as well. And on the back, then you have era and tricolors on the sleeves. That's it. It's a basic jersey, but it means everything. So I hope people like it.
Yeah. So everybody, if whoever goes on, like I said, the Instagram post will go out today on August 22nd, the day of the recording, and then we'll announce it again on probably Tuesday after today, where the podcast will be released. And then, like I said, on August 29th, we'll pull a winner for that. So good luck for everybody that puts their name in. Great.
And we'll just put a disclaimer in there right now. Mike and I can't win.
No.
We'll lay that there. So if you see me or Mike wearing a jersey, we didn't win it.
Now, when you come to the festivals, do you bring jerseys to sell, or do you just let the website do that?
I bring jerseys as well, yeah. Yeah, I'll bring a small few. I travel alone, so I can't bring a huge amount with me. But yeah, I generally bring about like maybe 15 to 20 jerseys with me in case anyone's interested in them.
Oh, good. Let everybody know for when we see them in Worcester.
Absolutely.
All right, so jumping back into your journey, Davy, we talked a little bit there about, how you decide what stories to tell, or if you decide, but the background research. What guides do you have when you're creating videos and posting them? Because, Irish history is so deep and complex as well, so what do you do when you're creating your videos to guide yourself along to make sure that you're getting the relevant information across that you want to put out there?
Accuracy is absolutely everything, and keeping it factual. That is the most difficult part about making these videos, is I have to be so careful, especially if I'm researching a new topic that I'm, not 100% sure on, if it's new to me. And yeah, I have to be so careful. I never, ever use one source to create a video. Even if it's my favorite historian in the world, I'll never trust one source ever. I'll use like generally about 3 to 5 sources, we'll say, for the same topic, because a lot of the time, you might have had 2 people at the same event, and if you get their witness statements, they're completely different. So I do have to be very careful, and like all my videos are completely unbiased. I wanted to do that from the very start. I don't really give my opinion on anything. I just don't really see a point in giving my opinion on anything. I'll just give the most accurate representation of the story as I can, and give, different points of view in it also. But like keeping it factual and accurate is everything to me. And that's where all of the work is, So I'll read books on certain topics. I'll look at witness statements. I'll look at articles online. I'll look at newspapers, loads of different sources just for the same video.
That's great. Now, the videos have got you into a couple other different realms now. If I remember correctly, I saw on Instagram that you're officially going to be featured on PBS for a history program. That's really cool. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, 100%. So the whole TV thing started off for me last September. I did an episode with Nationwide on RTE, which came out at the very beginning of this year. So that was my first ever TV show appearance. It was shot and filmed in Kilkenny, in the city that I live in, and also like my home house and my home area down in South Kilkenny. And last year at Iowa Irish Fest 2024, I met Michael Laundra, who's the host of Ireland with Michael, the PBS TV show, and got chatting to him. Had never met him before, and that was it. we didn't plan anything for the future or anything like that. We just had a chat and we had a bit of crack and it was a good laugh. And then a few months later, he got onto me and he was telling me that they're going to be shooting season 6 in the summer of 2025. And he said, "Would you like to be the historian for the season?" And I was like, "Nah, it doesn't really interest me." No, only joking. Yeah, I took the hand and all off him. I said, "100% get me on that show now." But oh, it was class. It was unbelievable. Like, I really, really enjoyed it now. I can't, unfortunately, I'd love to tell you where we went and what we did in Ireland, but I don't want to ruin the show. But it comes out in January or February 2026. But it was a great experience. Yeah. I mean, being on like filming for TV is so different, because I know I'm on camera a lot, but usually it's just me shooting the videos. There's no pressure. If I make a mistake, nobody else knows about it. I can just I can just film it again. But when you're filming for TV, yeah, it's definitely a little bit more pressure. But I really, really enjoyed it. Absolutely loved it, and I can't wait till it comes out now in early 2026.
Awesome. Now you're even saying that I saw on Instagram you're promoting to do tours for groups over in Ireland now, correct?
That's right, yeah. So I'm going to be hosting a tour in April 2026. It's a week-long tour, and it's going to be a mix of a bit of everything, to be honest with you. I definitely deliberately brought in a bit of revolutionary history if people are interested in that, because that's something I'm really passionate about, and I suppose it's something that's often kind of overlooked on these kind of tours, I suppose. But we're going to be doing a little bit of 1916 Easter Rising history up in Dublin with the incredible Lorcan Collins, no other man to go to for 1916 history, and a little bit of War of Independence history as well. And then we're going to be visiting like mostly east, southeast, and west of Ireland as well. Then, and finishing off with a music festival as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's the first time I've ever hosted a tour in Ireland. I mean, I've done like private tours here and there in Ireland, but never anything like this, like a week long. So yeah, really looking forward to that. It's gonna be brilliant.
That sounds absolutely great. So, apart from obviously the PBS, the history tours, what's the dream goal? What do you see as something that you haven't done yet, but that the videos are opening doors for you?
I'd love to do more TV work. I really, really enjoy TV work, I must say. I suppose a dream that I'm not currently really working on, but it's kind of at the back of my brain is to have some kind of Irish history TV show or TV show series. That's something I would absolutely love to do. Um, I've only worked with TV for slightly over a year now, and again, it's something that I didn't know or didn't really think I'd enjoy, but I love it. I absolutely love it. Um, Other than that, then Irish Fests. Irish Fests. I've been doing it for 2 years now, but I absolutely love them. Like next year now, to be honest, I want to get to as many Irish Fests as humanly possible because it's so fun. It's so unbelievable to go over to the States and whether you're playing Irish music or teaching the Irish language or teaching Irish history and have so many people like genuinely really, really interested in it. It's unbelievable. So that was a mad experience for me 2 years ago because I'd never done it before and it was brand new to me. And I've been doing more and more Irish festivals every year since then, and I'm loving it. So next year I want to do like as many as possible, to be honest with you, because they're just so much fun. They're brilliant.
Now, for people who would be attending the Worcester Festival, what's a typical presentation that you put on in that type of setting?
So I do a few different workshops. So recently, or this year, I've been doing an Irish American history workshop. I've been doing an Irish language workshop, but by far my most popular workshop that people want is the Rebel Songs workshop. So that's basically, it's an Irish revolutionary history workshop, really, but it's largely kind of linked to music. So I run it from like late 18th century until the 20th century. And for every like revolution or sorry, every like rebellion or uprising or war in Ireland, I'll link a song to it because this kind of brings me back to my roots and how I got interested in history, the whole music side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was playing a lot of these old Irish folk songs or rebel songs, and then I looked into the stories behind them and I was like, whoa, this is nuts. I've been playing this song for years and I never really knew what it was about. So I'll talk people through the whole revolutionary period in Ireland, and for each section, I'll link a song. So if I'm talking about, say, 1798, the rebellion in 1798, I'll link in the song like, oh, this is the rising of the moon, and this is what the rising of the moon is about. Or if I'm talking about the Easter rising, I'll talk about a song like Grace, for example. Because a lot of people will know these songs. I specifically pick famous Irish songs that most people know. So a lot of people, obviously in the States and in Ireland, grow up hearing these songs since they're kids. And I suppose it just kind of gives them a little bit more appreciation for the song when they know the full history and story behind why it was written. So the Rebel Songs Workshop is definitely my most popular workshop, I'll say. And it's really fun. I've been doing it for a few years now.
Great. Well, I'm sure you'll definitely get attendance at the Worcester Festival. I mean, people around here, for the most part, they definitely enjoy their Irish music, and to get the historical background of it is people will enjoy that.
I hope so.
Yep, definitely. Well, David, thank you so much for your story and for bringing the huge giveaway that I think is going to, blow up our own Instagram feed. To our listeners, it's fantastic to see someone who's working hard to keep Irish history alive, fresh, in a creative way. Like I said, what you're doing is creating snippets that are appetizers for someone then to dive deeper. And, from one history teacher to yourself, and, as a father with two boys who are growing up in America and learning about Irish history, this is no better way to, get the teenagers and get them their appetites wet for, learning more about their heritage and their culture.
And thanks so much, lads. I really, really appreciate it. Delighted to get on and chat with you here, and really appreciate the kind words as well.
No, definitely. So we will definitely try to see you in Worcester at the Worcester Festival, which is coming. Do you have the exact dates for that?
It is the 4th of October, Saturday.
Okay, Saturday, October 4th. Perfect. We'll put that down and we'll share that out as well. And then going forward, what are you in the States after that, or are you still scheduling?
Yeah, I'm in the States for most of October, to be honest. It starts off with Worcester Irish Fest. The week after that, I'm doing a show in Portland, Maine, in the Irish Heritage Center as well.
Oh, that's a beautiful venue. They do such a good job up there.
I can't wait to see it. Yeah, it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, and they're good people up there. James Buckley, and we know them. They're really good people. You'll enjoy your time up in Portland.
Brilliant, yeah. And then down to New Jersey, or in New York the week after, and then New Jersey after that. So, yeah, October is going to be a fairly packed out month.
Yeah. You're going to be, I talked to National President Shaun Pender. You're going to be at the McBride Award presentation, correct?
That's right.
Oh, okay. He's trying to get me to come down there, so maybe I'll see you there too.
Brilliant, yeah. Happy days.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Davy. This was awesome. I'm glad we had you on to talk. And just to reiterate what Shaun said, it's great that modern technology is giving the ability to expose people to important stuff like history and just the background to everybody's culture. So that's great. Thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you so much, lads. Really appreciate it.
And from one great Irish storyteller to another type of storytelling, this time through music, dance, and culture.
Exactly, Shaun. Our next guest has his hands full organizing one of the most exciting Irish festivals Boston will see this fall. Let's bring him in. And now we're joined by Liam Lynch. Liam, welcome to the show. For listeners who have not heard about it yet, I don't know how it's possible, but just, what can folks expect at Seisiún Festival this September, and I guess kind of a background of where it all originated from. This is great.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. We're so excited about this. A little bit of backstory. The Seisiún has been ruminating in my mind and the mind of my partners, Joe Killian and Jim Glancy, for really a number of years, and we thought about staging it in and around COVID year, and of course COVID changes everybody's worlds and turns them inside out and upside down. Seisiún comes from the same root and anchor and spirit of the Guinness Fleadh Festival, which we produced a number of years ago, which toured New York, Boston, Chicago, San Francisco, with the great Van Morrison, the late, great, and beautiful Sinead O'Connor, Chieftains, Nancy Griffith, Tracy Chapman, John Lee Hooker, Luca Bloom, Christy Moore, Shane McGowan, on and on and on. And we had a really wonderful time with that festival. And then for a number of years, or perhaps a number of decades, I just felt that there wasn't a sort of a truly crystallized, identifiable Irish spirit there like there had been in the late 90s. In the late 90s, we drafted off the success of Riverdance. We drafted off the success of the great McCourt brothers in delivering beautiful literary works. Clearly, Jim Sheridan and other filmmakers were at the epoch of their careers in delivering Oscar-worthy film projects. And music was having a real moment. Clearly, U2 were still peaking, and many new acts were emerging. So the Fleadh kind of drafted off of that, and we had 4 incredibly successful years with it. Then in recent years, I just felt that there's been this burgeoning revitalized spirit, in particular in the areas of Irish folk, certainly in the areas of Irish neo-punk. I reference artists like Lankum, artists like Lisa O'Neill and John Francis Flynn, who were honored to have joined us in a couple of weeks here. Also artists, of course, like Fontaines and Murder Capital. And there just seems to be a real moment for Irish music and culture again. It's clearly happening in film and TV too, and it's most certainly happening in literary works, from Sally Rooney to many, many more. And so we just felt that it was time. We're so excited. And, you know, the notion of where we would stage what I will call this pilot year, just to get a sense of what the market might want, and what the audience might need. Boston was the obvious choice to do this, and we had great success in Boston with the Fleadh, of course. And I don't need to remind you two gentlemen the importance of Boston for the Irish, and the importance of the Irish for Boston.
Definitely.
Yep, that's great. So the weekend, it's not just obviously non-stop Irish music. What are some of the other cultural elements that are mixed in as well?
Yeah, I mean, you know, first of all, Shaun, I guess the music itself is identifiable as Irish, but also Irish influenced, right? And so, you know, the Boston stalwarts, Dropkick Murphys, will headline the first night. Yes, they are an Irish American artist. Yes, they are also a brilliant punk artist, you know. And so we wanted to show music in a sort of a wide and diverse number of genres. So, you know, a world where you have Mairead, a singer-songwriter out of Los Angeles, paired with Glenn Hansard, you know, an incredible songwriter, and of course, Oscar-winning songwriter and performer, with new artists like Just Mustard and the Cardinals, a great new rock act out of Cork. We wanted to present, you know, a few different flavors, and I think that you know, in the end, there's quite a lot for everybody there. I think people go to festivals perhaps for the headliners, but they leave with what I'll call these great happy accidents that occur. An artist that you wouldn't have heard of, or you stumble into a trad session which we'll have at the People's Village with regional craft vendors and food and all of the fun that comes with being at a festival.
I think that's great. I mean, and you definitely have the headliners between Dropkicks and then the Pogues on Sunday, the Waterboys. I mean, there's a lot for people of varying taste to get by going, whether it's Saturday, Sunday, or both days. I mean, I think that's great. And then the other question I would have is how did you guys come upon the venue?
Well, the venue is maybe the most ideal spot for this particular festival. First and foremost, I guess, Michael, this was the same venue that we staged the Fleadh Festival back in 1999 edition. And at that time, Suffolk Downs was still a living, breathing, and working racecourse track.
Right.
And we built that festival with, I think, 4 stages, used the entire infield. As time has gone by with Boston real estate, the track and the area around the track has been earmarked for potential future development. But my dear partners at Barry Presents have taken over that venue and created, perhaps one of the most exciting new outdoor venues in Boston, the Stage at Suffolk Downs. And so it's a venue that has a whole summer series into fall series of shows, and it became a no-brainer. Beautiful venue, accessible to the city by train, and accessible to folks flying in. And there are a number of folks coming in from not just the New England area, but New York and the Midwest as well.
Great. And obviously this is for families. It's a family festival. It wouldn't be an Irish festival if it wasn't for families. What other things are going on, like the foods, activities, something that the kids can enjoy?
Yeah, there's a whole sort of back picnic and parkland area at the back, Shaun, for kids to enjoy. We are making this a kids-free event. We do want to make it a family-friendly event. Doors will open at 1 o'clock, and it will be an all-day. It'll be an all-day into night, culminating with the Great Pogues on Sunday night. And I'm not sure. I guess I should give mention to what the Pogues have been up to and what we can be absolutely enthusiastic about on Sunday the 7th to close this festival. As you know, the great poet laureate Shane MacGowan has passed away. Shane, with Spider Stacy, with Jim Fernley, and with Jem Finer, founded the Pogues. This iteration of the Pogues not just celebrates Shane, but much more importantly, passes down a candle down to the next generation of artists. And so I mentioned Lisa O'Neill, and I mentioned John Francis Flynn earlier, who will do sets in their own right. But they also, in addition to some members from Lancome, some other singer-songwriters out of the UK and Ireland, and a couple of Nick Cave's Bad Seeds, are forming what we'll call this supergroup version of the Pogues. It is truly otherworldly. And it happened to some degree by accident when Spider was invited to perform a anniversary edition of their very first album. And it garnered such buzz that they ended up selling out an entire UK tour just this past spring. 11 dates sold out across the UK. This particular iteration of the tour celebrates Rum Sodomy and the Lash, which is their seminal record, the one that really catapulted them to worldwide fame. But the interpretation of the tunes is not just traditional Pogues, but also sung by a number of these guest musicians. And I think across the board, you can see a lot of collaboration happening between artists across different time slots, and that's what makes all of this stuff so magical, right?
Oh, that's exciting. And the legacy part of it, and being able to bring in, like you said, that new generation of musician to celebrate everything that they brought to the genre, and that is really exciting. Now, if there's oh no, go ahead, Liam.
I was just going to add, Michael, and apologies. If you talk to Green Chatton, lead singer with Fontaines DC, perhaps the most exciting rock act out there right now, he will tell you that the reason why they exist is because of the Pogues. It is literally that big an influence, and he is not alone. Lancome say words to very similar degrees on that, and you start to realize the importance of this artist. Shane is the great poet who wrote most of these tunes, although many of them were co-written. But the magic that this band brought, that influenced this new emergent kind of folk, neo-punk, new rock kind of movement in Ireland. It's a little bit of an homage when you look back at what they've achieved and the influence that they have imparted onto this new generation of Irish artists. And it's been incredibly humbling for Spider, who had had the joy to spend some time with this summer as we did a little media tour. He was so moved by this, that what he was hearing, that this has just given the Pogues 2025 just incredible momentum. And it's a show absolutely not to be missed.
That's great. I mean, I love the idea of, like I said, the legacy part of it. I mean, the Pogues themselves, everybody has seen the clip of them and the Dubliners and basically given more, bring life to the Irish Rover again. And the idea that now there's another generation that is going to kind of go through that same experience with the members that are left of the Pogues. It's a really exciting, it's going to be something to really enjoy to watch.
Yeah. I'm honored to be able to present them here, Stiff Little Fingers are clearly a legendary punk rock act out of Belfast. They're so excited to be a part of it. They're so excited to collaborate with Dropkick Murphys. The Scratch, which is again a next generation artist, but in that punk and rock mode, also on that day. It'll be a real intriguing sort of plethora and potpourri of Irish culture here.
Sure. Now, is there one act that's part of that weekend that you would say that you're really proud to be able to bring them over and introduce them to, to Boston and hopefully beyond that?
There's just, a number of these younger acts are really talented. You heard me talk about the Fontaines who are having such success. I believe the next act in that slipstream could well be a band called the Cardinals out of Cork, and they play for us on Sunday, so I'm particularly excited to hear them. To see Glenn come and do something what will be a little bit more improv. When I say improv, Glenn is currently out with Swell Season touring right now with which is himself with Marketa Irglova. But Glenn wanted to be a part of this so much and is putting, a rock band around this. So it's going to be intriguing what kind of set that he gives us on the 7th also. There's so much to look forward to, Michael. There's probably not one performance, but it's the combination of the day and the vibe and the music and the celebration. And, as Jackson Browne once said and echoed by the wonderful, brilliant Christy Moore, let the music keep our spirits high. These are testy times for the world, any which way you look. And to have a weekend out like this, for not just the Irish, but for those predisposed to Irish culture and Irish music, we just want to invite people to have a really, really great time. Guinness have come back on board to sponsor the festival this year, and there'll be plenty of perfect pints poured and great revelry to be had. So we're looking forward to seeing people come out.
Well, it sounds like an absolutely amazing few days that are planned.
Yeah, it sounds like good crack, that's for sure.
It'll be good crack on the coast. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, with regards to information about tickets for the event, and do you have any details or anything that you would like to share? Obviously, whatever links you guys have, we'll include those in the show notes so that when the episode gets released, people will have access to that. But in case you want to share anything.
Yeah, the easiest place to go is either to barrypresents.com or to the stage at suffolkdowns.com, and the link for Seisiún is right there. Tickets are available on a per day basis, or there are weekend packages also available. So those will be the easiest places for folks to find tickets, and we look forward to seeing you all out there.
Great. And like Liam said, Suffolk Downs is really easy access. Doesn't matter, if it's by train or by Uber, or if I know they have parking there, but I'm sure they would rather you not come in your vehicle if that's possible. So, but yeah, thank you for coming on, Liam. This is great. We're really excited that this is happening again. And that it won't be the first time that this festival occurs at Suffolk Downs.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you, Shaun. Great to be here.
Thanks, Liam.
Okay, Shaun. So we go on to our third segment, which we have we have another announcement. We already had one announcement this show, but now we have another.
Yeah, that's it. Big announcement for everyone. We've talked all this time about other people's events, but now it's time for one of our own.
Yeah. So we're going on the road for the very, very first time.
That's right. We're going to be recording live on location at the Tinker's Son in Norwell for their halfway to St. Patrick's Day festivities on Saturday, September 20th.
Yeah, we'll be joined by owner Brian Houlihan, and who else knows who will talk into dropping in as well. So come on down, join the Craic, and say hello. It's going to be a fantastic day and night of Irish music, conversation, and community. So we're really excited about that, right, Shaun?
Yep, that's it. And it's forewarning to those we know we may be strong-arming some people to come join us. So clear your calendars and make sure you've blocked off a few hours to get to Norwell.
Well, that's going to do it for us for episode 14 of Craic on the Coast. A huge thank you to our guests today, Davy Holden and Liam Lynch. We had a really good show, Shaun.
Yep. I mean, I don't know about you, Mike, but I feel like I had a crash course in Irish history again and a sneak peek at what's going to be one of Boston's best weekends this fall.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And for all you listening, make sure to follow Davy on Instagram at Davy_Holden and keep learning those quick history lessons, and don't miss your chance to grab your tickets for Seisiún Irish Music and Cultural Festival at the stage at Suffolk Downs.
Yep. And again, mark your calendar, September 20th for the Tinker's Son in Norwell. Come say hi, have a pint, and join us for our first live on the ground recording. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah. So if you've enjoyed the show, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, share it with a friend. And if you've got a story to tell or a topic you want to talk about or have us talk about on the show, reach out by emailing us at craiconthecoast@gmail.com. That's CRAIC on the coast@gmail.com.
And until next time, thanks for listening. Go to my ugat, and let's keep the Craic alive.
Slán.